Welcome, my friends, to the Gothic Witch's Kitchen. Now, what do you do when you have leftover chicken and you don't want to eat it the same way as before? You go through your cabinets and find if you have any condensed soup. And if you do, it's time for a pot pie. Now, we're going to make a cheater pot pie. I know a lot of my recipes are cheater ways to do things, but I'm a witch. I'm supposed to be naughty, and sometimes it's fun being naughty. So, let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna pick our chicken. We're gonna pick our leftover chicken. I'm sorry sometimes the Southern grandma comes out and I'm not a grandma. Why am I doing this to myself? We're gonna pick cold chicken. Now, last night we grilled some chicken breast with the rib bones attached. I really like it that way. It's very good, and the chicken breast stays a lot more moist and doesn't dry out like boneless, skinless do. Plus, there's nothing better than crispy chicken skin. Now, I knew I would not be needing the chicken skin for these chickens, so my husband and I stripped the poor things of their skin last night and ate them while they were hot and crispy. Yes, yes, it was very, very good. So I'm just going to sit here and pull this apart in chunks by hand. Now, if you want to, and if you're on a real strict budget, you can use canned chunk chicken. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have used chunk chicken a lot for like chicken salads and stuff like that, but we kind of got a little bit burnt out on it. So we just wanted to use some real chicken with some real flavor. But whatever you have on hand, that's just fine. You can even do this with turkey if you have leftovers. Turkey. This takes a couple minutes. And when you get to the stringy parts like that, you don't want to put that or the fat in. But that's when having a minion comes in handy, and my minion is right at my feet. Trust me, she's ready for me to drop something her way. And she'll get what she wants. She always does. Now, you're kind of darned if you do and darned if you don't. If you use cold chicken, your fingers freeze. If you use hot chicken, you're going to burn yourself. But I prefer picking cold chicken. And here's a piece for the minion. No bones, please, if you feed a bit to your minion. Only fat and gristle. Chicken bones can harm your pets. Don't do it, ever. Now here in the South, we have problems with people saying, "Now I grew up, my granddaddy fed chicken bones to the dog all the time, ain't never died yet." Don't do it. I don't care if Grandma and Grandpa did it. They did not know any better, but it's dangerous. Wow, just one chicken, that's already a whole bowl. That's a lot of chicken in there. This is going to be super good. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to have 2 pies worth, which isn't really a problem, except for the fact that I've only got 2 pie crusts and one of them's going to be the top, so I might have to improvise for the other one. But this is going to be really good. Now, I've got my pan on medium heat. I'm not going to pick the other chicken just yet. I'm going to put it back in the fridge and we're going to see how this goes. Oops, Snoop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump 2 cans of cream of chicken soup right into a pot. And since this is condensed, I'm going to add a splash of milk. I'm just going to get a spatula and stir this around. I want the soup to start becoming soup. I might add about 1/3 of a can of milk. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put a little black pepper in here, but I am not going to salt this because soup, especially condensed soup, is loaded with sodium. Please don't do that to yourself. I'm going to put some pepper in there. And then I'm just going to stir in this chicken and see how it goes. See if I think I need more. Those are some good hearty chicken chunks, and that's going to make this pie really good. Now, you're right. I'm missing vegetables. Not really. I got a 15-ounce bag of peas and carrots, and I'm just going to dump those right in. I do like potatoes, but I was trying to save money. Look at this. This looks so good. Look at that all stirred in. Now, if you want to add any other flavorings, poultry seasoning or anything like that, that's fine. But my poultry was seasoned last night with sea salt, black pepper, and rosemary. So that's going to give a nice flavor to this. God dang, that looks good. You're such a good helper. You are such a good helper. You are. You're a good girl. I think this is going to be plenty of chicken. Now, while this is cooking, I have to tell you, I lost my favorite uncle a couple of days ago. And so, since I'm making pot pie with peas and carrots, I want to tell you my favorite joke that he passed on to me. Do you know how to catch a polar bear? Polar bears love English peas. They love them a lot. What you do is you get one of those ice pick knives and you carve a hole in the middle of the ice. And then you line the hole with peas. And when the bear comes up to take a pee, you kick him in the ice hole. It's so tacky, you have to love it. I'm going to miss him. I love bad jokes. Now, since we're going to be using a pie shell, one of these is still frozen and one of these has to thaw because I'm going to be using this one as a top. The reason why I'm doing this is because I couldn't find the actual just like pie dough that comes out flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to cut off this edge. I'm just going to trim this edging off because this is going to be my top piece. And it's that easy. I might stick these on the pan and make those for a little snack. I do love to eat pie crusts. Now that the filling is finished, it's time to assemble the pie. This frozen pie is going to be the bottom. Let's get it filled. As you can see, I put my other pieces on parchment paper. I am going to cook those. Waste not, want not. Now you want this reasonably full, but not so overstuffed that you can't get the top on. And I knew I was going to have filling left over, but that's not a bad thing. Man, that looks so good. Now we're going to take this and we're going to flip it upside down. And I hope this button does like it's supposed to. Please come out. It is not coming out. You loosen it. Sometimes things need a little help. Now we're just going to stretch this over to where it meets the edges. Can you see this? You want that to get to where it meets the edges, and then you're just going to crimp it down. You can use a fork or whatever, but the bottom part is frozen, so it's not going to crimp all that spiffy. I'm just going to try to like smear it down in there. And you do want to cook this on a pan so that if anything runs out, it stays on the pan and doesn't set the bottom of your oven on fire. You know what I mean. Okay, on the top of this, we're just going to cut a few slits. Don't forget that. You want that steam to escape. I'm just going to cut 4. And normally what I would do is I would get a little bit of tin foil and wrap around the edges so that the crust doesn't burn, but I am out of aluminum foil, tin foil, however you want to say it. I usually call it Reynolds wrap. This sucker is ready to go into a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for 25 minutes or until the crust is golden brown. The timer's gone off and I think it's about time to take out my pie. Now, I will say that originally the time was supposed to be for 25 to 35 minutes, and it's taken mine closer to 45. I think the reason is because it's also sitting on a pan, so it takes longer for the heat to get up through, and the top's not real brown, but that's okay. It's better than burnt. Let me show you what burnt is. My poor little pie crusty pieces got burnt, and they're sad. Sad little pie crusty pieces. Sad little pie crusty pieces. Now, as much as I'm sad about burning the pie crust, it is a little funny. Plus, when I opened it up to get it out, it put some smoke into the air, which sent my minion into a sneezing fit, which made me and Igor laugh heartily. Speaking of hearty, let's pull out this pie. Let's pull this bitch out. The timer went off, and I'm not gonna lie, it's taken close to a freaking hour for this thing because the top wasn't done. It still looks really blonde, but it is done. I've tested it. It's nice and flaky. See that? You want it to be flaky. But I'm done cooking it. I'm ready to eat. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gothic Witch's Kitchen. Now, I did decide I did want the top a little bit more brown, so I put it in for a few more minutes. But I'm so ready to eat it. It looks good and hearty and yummy, and it was so easy. You saw how easy it is, and the ingredients can be really, really cheap. So let me know down below if you've ever made a pot pie with pie crust the way I did, or if you always make it by hand. And sometimes in the South, people like to make it without a bottom and top it with biscuits or whatever. Everybody has their own way of making pot pie. How do you make yours? Give me a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm in the kitchen being diabolical. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye. What the fuck is this? It smells like weed. Like I've been drying out weed in the... What is that? Hush. Hush. You come in here and be a good minion. Well, minion, carrot. Come here. There's a pea. There's a pea and a carrot. Get it off the floor. Oh my god, you're such a good little minion. Oh my god, that's such a good snack. Okay, get the pea. Ooh, is that good? Yum, yum, yum. Ooh. She's a lucky monkey. You're a good girl. So what you do is you get one of those, so this frozen buy, what the fuck is a buy?